NBA 2K25 is right around the corner, and today we have a wish list of things that we wish would come to the 2K25 game. Now, this is a wish list because this is not what's going to happen, because 2K could not care less about their consumers and franchise mode and even my career mode. All they really care about is how many packs they can sell in MyTEAM, how many gold, ruby, sapphire, orgasm pluses they can get with the newest and latest Jason Tatum bronze naked opal. And to be honest with you, it's what's destroyed a lot of gaming. It's destroyed Madden. It's destroyed 2K. And it's going to continue to wreak havoc in our homes until eventually we realize that my team mode sucks. But that's not what we're here to discuss. We're here to discuss realistic moves that they can make to NBA 2K25. Because I have an entire 2K25 wish list that is pages and pages and pages long. I mean, make inbound plays be interesting and actually matter, and have a repeat animation, have a championship celebration where a tap post game needs defending, have a touch pass out position, have a ball and pass through the corner, NBA owners, you can just set up a dynamic offensive execution, play the key moments, and play the key games. You don't switch to the wrong player when you're in game. I mean, the list is just endless. But what I'm going to do is give you 3 things you can do in each mode. 3 things in franchise mode, 3 things in the gameplay, and 3 things in general that can make 2K an actually good game. Which it feels like it's been a long time. I've been pounding the table saying that 2K is worse than Madden for years. They continue to put out the same product every single year, and we continue to slop it up because 2K17 was a good game 8 years ago. Well, listen, guys, look at the graphics, look at the gameplay. I mean, when I think about modern games and the fact that The Last of Us 2, these are the graphics that I'm looking at, and then in my career mode, these are the graphics that I'm looking at, and that the gameplay is this, it's a problem. So we'll start with the franchise mode. That's my favorite mode. I know it's not as popular as some of the other modes like my career, but to start with the franchise mode, we need to fix the contract situation. Every single time we go about 3, 4 years down the road, hell, even 2 years into a rebuild, the entire NBA is broken. It's disastrous. James Wiseman is asking for $30 million. Kevin Knox is earning $20 million as like a 72 overall because his theoretical potential is high. They need to rework the contract so it actually plays to an intelligent system. Time played matters. Your player efficiency needs to matter. Your potential does matter, that you take that into account. Somebody who's drafted as a number 2 overall pick is going to continue to get offers, get mid-level exceptions. And I know just looking at an NBA salary cap is going to make your head spin. Everybody's like, oh yeah, the NBA is so much easier because the NFL, you have a hard cap. Well, in the NBA, you have a soft cap, and then you have a hard cap, and then you have an exception to the hard cap, and then you have a trade kicker. And there's like 57 different ways to look at the NBA salary cap to where they have to have an entire team dedicated to understanding the salary cap. I'm not saying that that's what needs to be implemented into 2K, but we need to make it so that it's not broken and where half of my team who's a 78 overall gets $30 million contracts, and then players who are so good, they're like 89 overalls, don't get signed throughout the entire season, and then they go and take a $2 million veterans minimum to go sign with the team and turn them into instant championship contenders. There's no reason why Kawhi Leonard should be earning $2 million as a 95 overall when injuries are turned off, okay? This has been an issue, I think, ever since I've been playing 2K. Please fix the contracts. The next up, and this is again purely for franchise mode, is I'd like to have them fix the potential system as well. In Madden, you have the different badges. You have the normal development, you have star development, superstar, and superstar X Factor, and it tells you how quickly you can actually gain XP. And then the XP contributes to how fast they can develop the player and get the overall boosts and get the upgrades. And that contributes to how fast they're going to be a good player. The problem with 2K is that it's all kind of under the engine. They have this theoretical potential number. And if your player has a high number, in the offseason, they go up like 5 overalls. And that does nothing for me when I'm in the franchise mode, when I'm playing as the GM. I don't see any signs of this player having a breakout season. I don't see any signs of this player having an incredible singular skill here and the ability to open up his skill set. Players have breakout season. Guys like Jeremy Grant are going to go from, mediocre role players, but there's going to be some signs and flashes that he has the capacity to be a number 2 or a number 3 on the team. Guys like Steph Curry are going to have incredible numbers, but then they're going to have injury concerns. And so you're going to sign him to a good contract, but not a Damian Lillard $60 million a year contract. Potential needs to be more dynamic than what it is. It needs to be based on their efficiency, the skills that they have, And I gotta say, I'm a big fan of the way MLB The Show handles potential, where they give you a grade, A, B, C plus, B minus, but that can change throughout depending on how well they produce in the season. So, yes, every player comes into the league with a certain level of potential, but you also have to put them in the best position to succeed. You have to help them grow organically and statistically. And eventually, when they hit their potential, that's when you know that you've knocked it out of the park. Guys who are drafted number 1 overall may not be the best player of that draft class. Guys who are drafted number 5 overall may be put in the best position to succeed, and thus they play better than everybody else. Thus, their potential continues to grow. That's what I like to see when it comes to 2K potentials in franchise mode. Not whatever it is they have now, where if you have a 95 potential, that's your potential. All right, then. And there's a few stats under the hood that are like, oh, the age of your breakout season, this is your peak starting age, and then this is your peak ending age, and this is where regression starts to hit. It's like that's fine. That's a first step. That's a first draft of how you work potential into a franchise mode. But you got to keep building upon that. And that's just been the way those are the ratings we've had for years. And lastly, I know this is just such a blanket statement, but update scouting. It's so boring to just go through a list of players, click, 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 click. All right, now we're at 100%. Okay, we have about a 95-ish percent understanding of this player's overall, what they're good at, what they're bad at. And then that's kind of it. There's a various number of ways to make it more interesting. In Madden, they make it so that you can't actually view all of the numbers. You can only view like their top 3 skills, and then you get a general understanding and recommendation of what the other teams see in them. In MLB The Show, it's even a little more vague. Scouting needs to be this giant question mark, and we just hope to do our best, as well as you make it interesting to play, fun to play. Scouting and seeing these new players, watching them play in game, seeing how they fare against better competition. That's where you can truly see how good or bad these players are. Jimmer Fredette may have been killing the game when he was in college, and then you realize when he gets drafted that he's a crap player. That's why he's going and playing 3v3 basketball instead of even in the G League. We need to see how players can execute in a system, what roles they can play, make it more interesting is all I can really say when it comes to improving the scouting system. Now that's just for me. I play franchise mode. I don't have a lot of advice for the MyCAREER, the MyTEAM mode. The only thing I can ask for, and I think we ask for it every single year, is that can they make the MyCAREER mode animations and cutscenes not be the most cringiest, most disgusting, most awful looking pieces of modern gaming in the history? Like, again, I always go back to this because for some reason, The Last of Us 2 game has the best graphics to date in games that I played. Maybe you could put God of War Ragnarok up there. These are the graphics of a good game. These are the graphics of the latest game that earns billions of dollars, that comes out every year, has a dedicated team of developers working on it every single year. Okay. The rest of the wish list for MyCAREER mode is more on the gameplay. Now, look, there's so many things that honestly, I think that they just need to completely wipe out this engine that they use. This animation based system is awful. There's so many errors and mistakes game in and game out. I literally can't go, I'll say, a 10-minute quarter without having multiple things go wrong, multiple animations be the problem. This animation system engine that they're using is disgusting. I like them to scrap everything, start from the bottom up, cut out all these crappy animations, cut out the input delay. I mean, when you're still side to side cheesing in 2024, it sickens me. But if we're going to deal with the engine that we have, deal with the crap that's in place, for the gameplay, we can do some minor tweaks. Like, let's make the post moves interesting. I know the post is dead in today's NBA, but we can still do a little bit. Alperen Şengün, Nikola Jokic, Joel Embiid. These guys are starting to introduce post moves into the NBA. Jalen Brunson, the greatest post playing guard we've ever seen, has made it a dynamic scoring option. So right now, post moves are really just a coin flip. Are your ratings higher than their ratings? Does the spin literally like elbow them out of the way to where the guy's doing a fallen down animation like a bitch? Or do you get stood up and you have to kick it out? It's basically a win or loss, A or B result if you win out of the post. And again, as with everything, let's make it a little more dynamic. Let's have you fight for positioning initially. Let's have anything within, 3 feet as a jump hook have an 80% chance of going in, or something closer to those ratings that are actually realistic. If I'm right in front of the hoop, I got to be able to put that in the basket. Otherwise, I'm JaVale McGee. Let's have the spins and counter spins and pirouetting that they actually do in the NBA. Guys like Robin Lopez, who's no longer in the NBA, but Joker does it a lot. Jalen Brunson, spin, spin, pivot, jump off your pivot foot. Jump off the foot you're pivoting with. Jaylen Brown did that multiple times in the NBA Finals. Let's just make the post moves not just be back down, back down. I can do an up and under, and if I get the right animation, it goes in because it's an open basket. If I get the wrong animation from the defender, I'm stood up, and it looks like I've never played basketball before in my life. It's just really frustrating to play. The next one is, I know defense is broken, but it is what it is. Defense has always been broken, and nobody cares about defense anyway. So let's do a Luka Doncic style, keeping the defender on your hip animation. Have it where you're taking the pick and roll. You're not blowing by anybody, but you're making sure that you have positioning. You keeping the guy on your back. Multiple guys, Dennis Schroeder, Cliff Paul. What they do is they jump up and draw a foul, jump it back into the defender. Luka's masterful at keeping him away from the ball, keeping him on his hip, and then going and either forcing the drop in defender to play him, in which case he throws up the alley oop, or he's playing the guy who's rolling to the basket so that he gets a lightly contested layup out of it. Just add some versatility to the pick and roll game, because right now the pick and roll is, am I open for about 15 feet so I can take a slow animating jump shot, or can I alley oop it? Those are kind of the only two solutions that come out of playing the pick and roll game. And lastly, just do something with the end of game situations. And it's really having to do more with inbounding and the press defenses that they play. So I'm kind of bundling these up into one. But the end of games really just suck. And I do a lot of videos where we come down and we watch close games. And really, if it's pretty much the team that's winning is going to win. There's no threat, CPU versus CPU, to steal the ball inbounds. There's no way to play an over aggressive form of defense where you're going to foul, but you're also increasing your likelihood of getting a steal or knocking the ball away. NBA end of game situations are chaotic. They're flying around, going from court to court. As the Indiana Pacers in the playoffs, they lost a couple of games because of the end of game situations. Fouls are occurring every single possession. Sometimes they're getting called, sometimes they aren't. Crazy plays are being drawn up by the head coaches, getting alley-oops to the basket, trying to get guys with open threes. Not every time it's the end of the game, they're going to shoot a Jimmy Butler three-pointer. So make the end of the games interesting. Make inbounding plays interesting. Make inbounding defenses interesting. Have trapping defenses in the half court and in the full court. Have a full court press that you can play. Have the ability to either put somebody who's 7'8" on the inbounder, have the ability to play 4-on-5 on the inbound play and take your guy completely off the inbounder and try to defend the other guy's best free throw shooter. So they force some guy like Josh Hart to shoot the free throw. Just make the end of games a little more interesting, like the way we have it in the real life. So those are three things that I think they can do with the current engine. Obviously, as I said, I have a million different things that bug me when it comes to 2K24 that aren't going to get fixed, but it is what it is. We're playing with the hand that we're dealt with. Lastly, just some general ideas that I wish they would do. The engine needs to be overhauled. This animation crap sucks. And the worst thing that I saw when I was looking up some of the new cool things that are coming out with NBA 2K25, we've added over 900 animations. And I'm just thinking, great, 900 more animations to get stuck in, because you press a button, they're going to be animating. Here I'm going, doing a stumbling animation. Oh, okay, I'm done stumbling. Now I'm going to pass the ball. And you press pass 15 seconds ago, so it ends up turning into a turnover because you're stuck in a goddamn animation. I hate animation-based games, and it seems to be more prevalent than ever now that every single thing that you do has about a 2-second input delay because the characters are busy animating instead of playing the actual game that you're doing. Now, we know they're not going to fix that, especially in this upcoming 2K25. Maybe add an Olympic event, an international event, the FIBA tournament. Add something. Maybe you don't have the rights for the global players. That's fine. Do what they did in college basketball. Just put a bunch of made up players and we'll go and update the ratings, especially now that you finally brought next gen to the PC. We're going to go and do the work for you. Just add the modes for us. Add an Olympic gold medal tournament. We play 5 games. Is it that hard to do? Add a FIBA tournament. Add an international element to this game, because the NBA is international. It's no longer just an American event. This takes place everywhere. People are playing basketball. The last 2 draft picks have been from France. The best players are Serbian and Slovenian and Greek and soon to be French. Let's add some internationality to NBA 2K. And lastly, this is just for me personally. Can we please just have a team or a person dedicated to updating the player ratings? Hell, just pay me to do it. Somebody who actually knows what the hell is going on in the NBA, who isn't giving Markelle Fultz an 80 overall 3-point jumper. Especially because not all 3-pointers are created the same. KCP shoots about 37% from the 3-point line, but you know what? He's a knockdown 3-and-D player. Jonathan Kuminga shoots what, 32, 33%, but he's an awful 3-point shooter. He's afraid of taking the 3 because he can't shoot the 3. Some guys have a quick catch and release like Pat Connaughton. Other guys have a really slow and they don't take a lot of 3s, and when they do, they have to have 15 feet of space around them like Chris Boucher. Not all 3s are created equal. Not all players are created equal. Not all mid-range jumpers are created equal. Have one person dedicated to updating the ratings who actually knows what the hell is going on. Now I know saying, oh, this player's a top 5 player, but oh, this player's a top 10 player. That's where you're going to have the internal debates among the teams. But tendencies and abilities and ratings, they need to have a team that's actually dedicated to doing it. They'll do it even when the season is over because basketball never sleeps. There's the playoffs, and like this year, there's the Olympic tournament where we can see Joel Embiid is washed. Drop those ratings, keep them up to date. I mean, hell, pay me to do it. Just have somebody who's competent keeping the ratings up to date. But let's be real. When we're talking about NBA 2K25, this is what they're going to do. They're going to add 8,000 new animations. They're going to rework something so it uses the stick instead of a button, and they're going to add more sweat to LeBron James's character model. I mean, that's just how it's been every single year for the last, I don't know, 10 years at this point, which is why we continue to be disappointed and we continue to buy this. Now, me personally, it's what I do. It's the channel. I'm going to buy 2K25. I'm going to be grumpy about it. I'm going to complain about it. But if there's anybody who's actually expecting a good NBA simulation engine, a good 2K25 game, I mean, they're just going to add another off-white super opal with a ruby veneer shaded Luka Doncic 99.9 overall MyTEAM player and say this is what's going to take us to the promised land. So I can't recommend that you're going to buy this game. I can't recommend the game to anybody, and I can't recommend playing it. What I can guarantee is that the MyCAREER mode is going to be cringe.
P, over here, bro.
Okay, what's up, Running Man? Hey, what's going on with the floaty?
This fit is fire, son! But also, I can't swim.
For real?
Yeah, man, I'm terrified of water. Any water. I don't even like to shower.
Please tell me you shower.
I shower, bro. I smell amazing.
You brought it up.
Yeah, but you don't have to be mean about it.